Black people want to be left alone. They don't want revenge. They don't want to replace us, as some extremist groups have said. They just want to live life in peace, the way they want to live. They want family, they want love, and they want to live in a society where they know they belong here. They want society to also know that they belong here. They want to walk out their door and not worry that they're going to be treated unfairly, or they're going to get that look like they're not welcome, or that someone's going to try to touch their hair like a zoo animal. Yes, they want they want white people to fix white problems of prejudice and ignorance and all the ways that a wrongful sense of superiority is baked into our society. Yes, they want that to change. Yes, they want acknowledgement for harms done. They don't want us to just explain things away or justify or gloss over things without really listening. But more than anything, they want to be themselves, fully express who they are, love who they are, be with their family, and live in peace. That's it.
Oh, I can honor.
Hello, brothers and sisters. These black people have gone through a lot. The black Americans have gone through a lot in America. So I want you to watch this compilation, and I'll be back with a little discussion.
Honestly saying that I truly, truly appreciate the Black community and being in support of understanding what the Asian community is going through. Mainly because we don't deserve your kindness. Like, we don't deserve the amount of gratitude, the moral support, the kindness that you have provided us on all levels of platform when it comes to being so relatable. Simply because of all of the racist shit that you guys have endured from our community in its own. You don't deserve it, you know, because even coming from a family of immigrants, like, for our family to come here to the States and to either piggyback, hop on, ignoring all of those things and not acknowledging a problem of us being racist to Black Americans, but immigrating from a whole nother country and then just developing a whole racist mindset because of what white Americans have planted is freaking insane. So we don't deserve your guys' kindness. We don't deserve this. So when I say that I'm truly, truly appreciative and I really, really do admire the amount of support that we have been getting, I truly mean it. For a while now, I understood that even for myself that I have appropriated Black culture, and however that may look, right? As simply as being given permission from some of my Black friends to use the N-word, to talking, dressing, and just really trying to find a way to be actually accepted by the Black community because my own community wouldn't accept me.
I've been trying for a while now to figure out how to talk about something that's been on my mind, and recent events, I think, finally pushed it up. What I want to say is that racism is a white people problem. A white people problem that others are forced to live with. As a white man, I've never had to be afraid of being pulled over by the cops. As a white father, I've never had to have that special talk with my kids about not looking wrong or saying the wrong thing to a cop for fear that they wouldn't come home again. I've never had to worry about being turned down for a mortgage because of the color of my skin or where to go jogging. Never had to worry that I could be scooped up by ICE just for looking like I might belong to the wrong group, even though I was born here. I've never committed the misdemeanor crime of selling cigarettes. But if I did, it wouldn't be a capital offense. These are things that people of color have to deal with every stinking day. These are things that white people allow, that white people cause. I think I'm finally ready to talk about it now because of the state that our country's in, the permission that Donald Trump has given for racist behavior, and the hope I recently felt when I saw the latest poll numbers. For reasons that never made sense to me, Donald Trump has gained support in nearly every demographic when he won his last election, including non-white communities. But now, recent polling suggests that just about everybody is finally seeing him for what he is. They're seeing his racism, and the racism emanating from this administration like stink from a skunk. And they're saying it's not okay. He's lost everything that he gained, and then some, among all these groups. Well, every group except one. That one group is white, non-college educated men, the last stronghold of Trump's race-based politics. Polling indicates that a majority of this group is still standing solidly behind Trump and his policies. Unfortunately for them, they're not going to be any better off under Trump's policies than anybody else. Maybe one day they'll realize that their racism isn't worth what they're losing. And maybe the rest of us will realize something too, that racism is a white people problem, and it's up to white people to solve it. It's up to white people to call it out among their coworkers, their friends, and their family. It's up to white people to be the loudest and proclaim that racism is no longer acceptable in American institutions. It's up to white people to make sure that we're not voting for the racists.
The first bullet will not be for the black man, but for the white traitor that sold out his people. That is a quote often attributed to this man, a well-known white supremacist terrorist in South Africa aiming to maintain the apartheid system. And so while the attribution is quite frankly very difficult to find, and it doesn't directly literally apply because bullets have been flying in America the past 250 years against black and brown people, the sentiment is very clear, which is that while white supremacists, especially those that identify and theorize as such, maintain hatred and want separation or oppression of those they see to be racially inferior, their primary immediate political targets are those they deem to be white traitors. Because in white supremacist minds, and in fact white supremacist societies like America and South Africa, white people hold the power. And the most important thing for a white supremacist is to maintain the solidarity of those that hold power. The elites understand this. That is why rich people have solidarity amongst themselves. And they are willing to enforce this solidarity with violence. That is what is being seen. It is not just an expansion of the stochastically violent terrorists put on the street, but it is a part and an effect of those terrorists being hired by the state, those violence workers, that organization being penetrated actively so by white supremacist organizations like the Proud Boys, like Identity Europa, like Christian Identity, and like the KKK, whose primary call to action is not to enforce racial separation. That was theirs like 60 years ago, 70 years ago. They will leave that to the system they want to change. Their primary immediate call to action as a small group of privileged and very violent individuals is to start enforcing the solidarity amongst white people so that we either stand in line while they shift the system to be more openly oppressive, more openly violent, and more openly racialized, or we see ourselves as next. So if you don't want to stand in line, if you don't want to fall in line with the white supremacist terrorists, you better start identifying a hell of a lot more with those oppressed by the white supremacy, those oppressed by the racial superiority, those oppressed by the American empire, and then focusing on maintaining the privilege that they grant you. And that is the shift, because you genuinely will become a race traitor. And that is not a slur, that is a fucking compliment. Because anything other than a race traitor in a white supremacist society is a white supremacist.
I would ask my people of color to stick with me for just a minute because I want to ask you a question. I'm probably going to sound really stupid. So please, if anything I say sounds offensive, it's not meant to be offensive. It's because I'm learning and I don't have the correct vocabulary. So if you haven't followed me, I'm an attorney. I've worked in the criminal justice system. I know there's systemic oppression. I have seen it. I have fought against it. I have children who are biracial, and I have seen how people look at me when I walk into the store with my daughters versus without my daughters. I've seen it. I know I only have just the slightest idea of what my people of color have gone through over the years, but I know that it's real. But I also know that I don't know very much because I was raised the privilege that this skin and my blue eyes allowed me to have. And school was easy for me. So, I didn't have trouble in school. So I was able to be educated. All the privilege that comes with that I now acknowledge that I didn't even know what it was until, really I started opening my eyes to it in Black Lives Matter. And realizing how bad systemic racism is across the board. But I have an idea, and again, I'm probably going to sound stupid because I bet you guys have known this for centuries, that the reason that Black people especially and have been persecuted is I think you guys has some stuff that we don't have. I mean, I think you may have some power. I don't know what else to call it. Spiritual closeness, something that I've been a person of faith my whole life, and I love Jesus, and I've always sought after Jesus, but my whole religious foundation is crumbling because I'm seeing all the lies in the church. I still love Jesus and what he taught, but is there a place you guys could point me to try to read about that, to learn about that? Am I off base, or I know I'm probably so late to the party, and y'all probably are gonna think that I'm ridiculous, but I want to learn. I want to do better. And I can't do better unless I learn better. And I want to learn for my friends and for my country and for my children. So if there's truth to that you guys know of, that there's somewhere you can point me books or somebody to follow or study, I want to try to learn to see, why is it that Black people have been singled out for hundreds and hundreds of years? Y'all got something special that they're trying to take away? I think that may be part of it. Do I sound crazy? I don't know anymore. The world has seemed so crazy that I'm questioning everything, but really there's got to be a reason, and it's got to be something that you've got some power that they want to take away, right? Or is it something else? Tell me if I'm off base. And I know it's not your job to teach me. I know it, but I do need some help getting pointed in the right direction, because I have no idea where to even go to research this. So,
Hello, my brothers and sisters. Hope you are fine wherever you are. So today, we see these apologies. We see these admissions of these people that have come to realize that the truth. In that second video, you see this lady apologizing to blacks, telling them everything that she had in her minds. She even appreciates them, even though she comes from a family of immigrants. She has seen a lot that the blacks go through. She sees them as very kind. Even after all that has been done to them, they are still strong and goes about their businesses. So these things called racism is a big problem. Black Americans have gone through racism for a very long time, since the days of their forefathers. They have seen a lot from the whites that see themselves as superior. The supremacists have even gone ahead and planted this seed into their own children. A child grows up knowing that black people are not humans. They are like animals, not to be respected. They are not even seen as people. This color thing is planted in children immediately after birth. And this problem has been there for ages. These blacks have seen a lot pertaining this thing called racism. They have been called every kind of names to diminish them and make them feel like lesser humans. They have been denied opportunities in the name of racism. Even many good chances that come their way was taken from them in the name of color. You even saw in the past presidential election, this beast called racism was the biggest decider of the outcome. This monster called racism has always taken away chances of good leadership from good leaders to elect those that have that thing called racism in their hearts. For example, you see from the past US election, you find that majority who voted for Donald Trump voted because of these things. They went to the ballot with their with this thing in their hearts. They never went to vote because of the policies. They strictly went to express themselves as racists. They saw that voting for the orange man was their biggest achievement because the racism thing is also seen in him. Even some of them knew that after electing him, blacks will be deported to other countries. This saw them come out in large numbers to go and vote. They even had this thing against Kamala Harris because of her color. They had this fear of being ruled by a person of another color, which would be demeaning them. Being ruled by a black will make them look less humans. But now, if you take a look of what they are going through today, you will realize that they didn't have a reason to vote because of color. Because right now they are out there crying, accusing the same person of their color of not standing with them. They have gone ahead and even accused him of colliding with blacks to make their lives miserable. He even went ahead and deported the immigrants, an idea that went well with them before realizing the effects that will come with deporting them, because these were the people that helped them in their farms. They are the ones that accepted the cheap labor. Now crops are rotting in the farms because no one is there to work in the farms the way these immigrants were doing. Now all these racists who are celebrating the deportation are now blaming the orange man for doing that. Now they have realized that those immigrants played a big role in their farms, and by deporting them, it was a big mistake. You see the problem that they brought for themselves. Yes, this man is a whatever is going on has come to harm them. They thought that when Trump becomes president, everything will be in order. Their wishes will come true. But that's not the case. They are now calling out on the streets, they are now coming out on the streets carrying placards, accusing the orange man for their own decisions. Even they went ahead and started begging the blacks to come out with them for demonstrations for their own choices, never knowing that these black are the same people that warned them against voting for the man. Now where is that thing called racism? Taken that they voted against that blacks, and now they are back to them for support. Now how can that happen? I told you never to vote for that person. I warned you against this person, but you never gave me attention. Now you are here looking for my support, hoping that I'll come support you. I don't think that can be possible. So let's face the reality. Let's live the life that we chose on the ballot. So that next time when you go to make a decision, make a right one. Racism doesn't pay anything. It's just a waste of time. We are all humans. We need each other. But now in the videos you have seen some white men and women are now changing their minds. They are now back on the right track. We should embrace love always. So this video is not meant to divide masses. It's meant to unite everybody, no matter the race. This video is strictly for education purposes. And remember, all credit goes to the original creators of these videos. So I don't take it for granted you taking your time and listen to me. I appreciate. So if this is your first time here, consider subscribing to the channel. Also share, like, and remember to leave a comment. See you in my next episode.